physically, mentally, and being with us throughout the event. And
Very
today
good evening, sir. It's a blessing to have such luminaries that my children and my teachers, including myself, we are all going to learn, and what could be better than this. So thank you, Priya, for giving us this opportunity, and Srinivasan, sir.
We also have Ravi Sendil Kumar, who is the Executive President of Sansad Ratna Awards Committee. Fine. So can we start the program?
Yeah, good evening to all.
Very good evening.
With your permission, sir, can we start the program?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ekta, can we play the music?
Sure, ma'am.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, respected guests who have joined us today, and our audience who are watching us live. We have been very fortunate enough to celebrate the Constitution Day as a national conclave for 4 days, beginning 25th to 28th of November. And here we are on the 28th of November, on the last and the final closing ceremony. As you say, you start with a good spirit, you end with a better spirit. So today we have with us two legendary bureaucrats of their own time who have been celebrated then till now for the way they have conducted themselves and have contributed for the nation building. So may I welcome B.S. Raghavan sir and T.S. Krishnamurti sir for being with us today on this event, on the closing ceremony of this national conclave. So may I request Principal of Alcon International School, Sri Sanjay Yadav, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, and a very good evening. Namaskar to everyone, and a very warm welcome, hearty welcome to our esteemed guests today. We at Alcon School, the students, the teachers, myself, and our director, Dr. Ashok Pandey, we take great pride in associating with Sansad Ratna Award Committee and Prime Point Foundation because it is our children, as they have titled one of their programs to be Next Gen Leader. We feel that our country is going to produce next generation leader among the youngsters who are being educated, and we have the responsibility. And on that pretext, if we get an opportunity of this kind, making them listen to and hear the words of wisdom, the words of experience from the luminaries like our guests today, I'm sure that we all feel so delighted and so blessed. So on that note, I just wanted to quickly tell you, sir, as Ms. Priya had already spoken, that this year, with Prime Point Foundation, when we started talking about celebrating our Constitution Day, we all educators feel that yes, it is very necessary for our children to, it's not just a celebration, rather imbibing those values in the life and making our children feel connected. So they have also witnessed the thoughts and the deliberations and the discussions. They had the platform to discuss on their own also and talk about how do they perceive country before self. We have also had a number of panelists among the school principals who have deliberated and talked about role of educator in bringing the fundamental duties. So the whole focus, as Srinivasan sir had conceived right from the beginning, he said that this year when we are talking about it, we shall be focusing on the role of fundamental duty to make our youngsters understand that rights are there, which everybody wants to know and they are aware of it. But then before rights, let us focus and let us talk about the duties. And of course, I don't think I need to introduce about anything about our great speakers, and everybody has grown up. Many of us have been following you for years, for both of you. We have been listening to your words of wisdom, and in fact, your life itself has been a role model for many of us. So I'm not going to take much time, but rather thank Almighty for having given us this opportunity. And let's hope that our educators and our learners are going to, as Priya has already said, that it keeps getting better. So the best is here to be offered to everyone. And I'm sure it will be a memorable moment in everyone's life forever. So looking forward to listening to your words, sir, your words of advice for our youngsters. With these words, I welcome you both, sir, and we are looking forward to today's session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sri Sanjay Yadavji. Thank you so much for welcoming with so much of warmth. And so today, the topic of discussion, because every single day or 4 days we had separate topic of discussions, and today we are going to discuss about role of civil society in improving the system with case studies. And so without the back force for running this entire show, who's Mr. Prime Point Srinivasan, without whom none of us could have been connected and being connected for years together. His selfless service, which he's been rendering for 22 years, and with the highest integrity and highest ethical principles which he follows. And we take this opportunity to thank him for giving us such a wonderful platform. And so may we have your speech before we get to the panel discussion.
All of us are eagerly looking forward to listen to Mr. B.S. Raghavan and Mr. T. Krishnamurthy, the legendary Indian bureaucrats. And before that, I just wanted to, though I was telling in the earlier days also, what prompted us to go for this type of school children this time is, last month when we were writing the cover story, we came across data that the youngsters in the age group of 0 to 20 constitute 40% in Indian population. 40% of a small group, age group less than 20, is a very sizable one. The rest 21 to 100 is only 60%. That means, and after 20 years, these young boys and girls, they will be forming the crux of our country. They will be ruling the country. They will be taking up a lot of governance and responsibilities. Then we thought that why not we reach out to them, because unless these children are now groomed well as good leaders in every domain, the country will not be in the top position, because by the time that the other age group will slowly retire from the system. So we thought that it is better this time. All along for 4 years, for the past 4 years, we have been celebrating the Constitution Day. And this time, and we were going to the colleges, we were talking to the elders. This time, suddenly we thought, why not we go to the children and teachers? Even Dr. Abdul Kalam used to tell always, better go to the children. He never, if he had seen his life, he used to always go to the schools. Happily, he will go to the schools and he will talk to the children, because young minds, and even if one teacher is motivated, he or she, the teacher, can motivate thousands and thousands of children as a good citizens. So we thought that a good school with a good group of people, like-minded people, we thought. Anyway, Dr. Our Ashok Pandey is our advisor to Sansad Ratna Awards Committee, and also he is a part of our editorial team. Then we had a discussion with him. He was gladly agreed for that. Not only he agreed, he also brought 10 schools together for the children competition. He created an awareness among the top 10 schools of Delhi. No, it is only a humble beginning of our mission. So, this is the 4th day. First day we had a competition. Second day we had a physical event. And third day, yesterday, we had the top 5 schools, including an internationally, our Indian schools at Dubai also participated. How to motivate the teachers' role in creating an awareness about the Constitution and to make them as a good citizens. Yesterday, we had a long virtual discussion. Today, we are having a veteran bureaucrats who have a rich experience in Indian system, that governance system. And I look forward to hearing from you. And both of them are highly respected people. They have a high respect for our Prime Point Foundation. So the moment when I asked them, immediately they agreed. And I welcome you again, both of you, Mr. T.S. Krishnamurthy and Mr. B.S. Raghav. And over to Priya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such a comprehensive look out to the entire national conclave which we've been running. To our panelists, to just run you through. So first, let me introduce one panelist, and then you can give us your perspective. Then I will introduce the second panelist. You can give us your perspective. Then we can have a couple of questions which we have raised from our survey, and then we will keep it open to questions. So this is how we have planned the session. So with the permission, so I'm now introducing B.S. Raghavan, sir. So B.S. Raghavan, sir, is an IAS officer, a retired IAS officer. He was the first secretary for the National Integration Council that was presided by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So sir has served with Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He has served with Lal Bahadur Shastri and Madam Indira Gandhi. He had also been the security advisor at the UN. So at the age of 95, he's still a columnist. The reason why we specify the age again and again is he's a standing example for the rest of the world that as you age, the optimism doesn't deceit. So he is one such person filled with optimism and filled with that energy to give even more to the society at this age. So I'm sure we really missed the age of your best performances, but I'm sure that that would have been a great show at your time. And you still continue to do that, sir. And over to you, and we can't wait to hear you more.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Clearly?
Yes, sir.
I cannot describe the great joy I feel in being part of today's celebration. I want to pay my tribute at the very outset for the great and monumental work that Prime Point Srinivasan has been doing for nearly quarter of a century to raise the quality of public life, the quality of public discourse in this country, and creating an awareness amongst the representatives of the people how they should play their role by setting up this very inventive award, Samsad Ratna, which, as Priyadarshini mentioned, has been awarded without any single blemish so far, without inviting any single adverse comment, because of the professional, intellectual, personal integrity of the people concerned. I am very happy that a person like Priyadarshini is the president of the Samsad Ratna Awards Committee. Sanjay mentioned a point to which I want to make an amendment. He said, we are going to be the future generation of leaders. No, the future generation of leaders are already here. Sanjay is one. Ashok is one. Priyadarshini is one. The children are there. Therefore, we need not wait for the future generation of leaders. They are already in position. Now, it is because of the service that people like Sanjay, Ashok, and others are putting in that this country is going to become great. I have great faith that they will contribute to the fame, name, and glory and greatness of this country. Now, we must find out what precisely. Now, the other point I want to mention is that maybe amongst the people who are here today, maybe with the exception of Sri T.S. Krishnamurti, I am the only one to have listened to the midnight address of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on the day India gained independence. We, long years ago, we had a tryst with destiny. That's how he began. When the whole world is asleep, India will awake to life and freedom. That address was, for us, we were young at that time, most inspiring. And today, while reciting it, I feel the thrill of it. The second point I wish to make is I consider it a great honor to be here along with Mr. T.S. Krishnamurti. I want you to know, I want you really to know that he is the pride of this nation. You know, the elections that we conduct every year, every 5 years to parliament and so on, I call them the eighth wonder of the world. Just consider the scale and magnitude. Nearly 900 million voters, nearly 80,000, 90,000 polling booths, mobilizing election personnel, about 5 each for each of the polling booths, security personnel, and completing it without a single complaint, the counting, the balloting, everything going on smoothly. And consider the placement of the polling booths. Some are at the height of 14,000 feet. Some are in a valley. And conducting all this with so much finesse and success, it is nothing, no other country will be able to do it. You give it to the most technologically advanced country like the United States, they will make a mess of it. And people like T.S. Krishnamurti, he has been in charge of the eighth wonder of the world, nothing less. I want the children to know, but we most of the time, we do not realize the magnitude, the greatness of the work we do. I call people like T.S. Krishnamurti, Priyadarshini, the young lawyer. They are all, I use the word, please don't mistake me, they are like lizards. Now, lizards walk upside down on the ceiling without knowing that they are performing a miracle. They are defying the law of gravity. So the same way, many of our leaders like T.S. Krishnamurti perform miracles without knowing that they are performing miracles. I want the children to know, I want all of you to know that we are daily performing miracles in this country. Now, role of the civil society. Any entity can play a role only if if the entity is aware, has knowledge, has awareness, has sensitivity as to what kind of a responsibility and role it should play. What is the civil society? The civil society is nothing but we the people. The Constitution Day is to celebrate the enactment and giving to themselves a constitution by we the people. So the entire we the people constitute the civil society. But do they have the knowledge? Do they have the awareness? Do they know? Are they taken into confidence? We will have to make sure that if the civil society has to play a role, it should be aware. Now, take a thing like financial affairs, defense affairs, foreign policy. Now, the civil society, why the civil society? Even the educated people are unaware. They are strangers to how these decisions are made. If I ask a member of parliament as to what SAM stands for, what ICBM stands for, he won't know. If I ask an educated person what Vanuatu is, what Kiribati is, where Lesotho is, he won't know. So unless there is complete knowledge, complete awareness of what is going on in the governance and public administration in various aspects of governance and administration, the role cannot be discharged with any kind of success. Therefore, our first duty, the duty of persons like Prime Point Srinivasan, is to concentrate on the education and public awareness of we the people. Hitherto, we have been concentrating on the representatives of the people. But we must now go down to the original makers of the Constitution, namely we the people. Therefore, I think there should be some way that Prime Point Srinivasan, Ashok, Sanjay, and others must sit down, Priyadarshini should sit down and find out how we the people can be brought into play in a full measure with all the amplitude of their powers, of their awareness, of their strength, of their numbers. I think this is very, very important for success of the system. The system cannot be improved without knowledge. The system cannot be improved without sensitivity, without empathy, without awareness, without commitment, without involvement. The system cannot be improved. It cannot be just improved by words, by articles, by talks. It can only be improved by an average citizen in Sangli, Kolhapur, Muzaffarpur, Uchilambatti, Udumalpettai to be aware of what his role is. Therefore, I think there should be some way of involving we the people. That's why in Chennai some years ago, we started an organization which of course still exists in name. We called it We the People. So I think the civil society should be interpreted as we the people, and we should focus and concentrate on we the people to make them aware of finance, of defense, of foreign policy, of various aspects of which even the educated people are not aware. Maybe even Priyadarshini will not know. She knows the distinction between various branches of law. but she may not know the distinction between various branches of defense. In fact, if I ask suddenly, Priyadarshini, please list the ranks of the army officers from second lieutenant upwards to five-star general, she might stumble and fumble because she wouldn't know that after second lieutenant there is first lieutenant, captain, etc., etc. She wouldn't. Therefore, when that is the situation, with even sensitive and bright and intelligent people, what about a man in Ushilambatti, in Udumalpettai, in Madurai? Therefore, my earnest plea is find a way, find an inventive way. Now, there is a big problem in this country, sirs. You should not mistake me. Most of our activities are of the English knowing, for the English knowing, and by the English knowing. We meet in such conclaves, deliver great speeches in English to each other. We appreciate and go away. Again, awareness and knowledge of we the people can come only if we go down to them. Such meetings must be held in Muzaffarpur, in Bulandshahr, in Digbai, in Guwahati. Unless we go down to the people and they feel that they are part of us and we are part of them, you cannot create the awareness by talking to 20 people who are PhDs and who have come from Yale University and so on. So this is a dichotomy in this country. How to bridge the gulf between the English knowing and the rural interland. So unless we go down and be part of them, understand them, eat their food, smell their soil, we will not be able to, they will not count us as part of them. We'll always be strangers, wearing pants and bush shirts and suits and safari suits. We'll be strangers to them. Therefore, my plea somehow or the other to people like Priyadarshini, Ashok, who are in charge of children is that how to go down to them so that they feel themselves integrated with us and we feel ourselves integrated with them. Understand them, understand their language, understand their sentiments, understand their sensitivity. I think some way must be found. We cannot conduct business for the English knowing, of the English knowing, by the English knowing forever. Therefore, we must conduct business where we, the people, are fully integrated, are an integral part of our effort. Find out a way how to do that. If you have to learn Hindi, if you have to learn Tamil, learn it. Talk to them in their own language. For instance, when I was in service, when I worked with Jawaharlal Nehru, who was a Cambridge-educated man, Lal Bahadur, B.C. Roy and others, with B.C. Roy, I always talked in Bengali. I found when you talk to a person in his own language, your administrative efficiency itself improves. I was the chairman of 4 major technical enterprises, Damodar Valley Corporation, Public Durgapur Projects, Power Development Corporation, etc. I always talk to them, to the workers in their language, in Urdu, in Hindi, in Bengali, in Tamil. I got instant response. Therefore, you must touch the emotions. Emotions play a big role in creating that kind of an awareness, involvement, and commitment. If you want to create an emotion, there are 2 essential conditions. One is the people with whom you deal must feel integrated with what you are doing. I once wrote an article, how to make the janitor feel like the CEO. It is no point that the CEO or the Prime Minister or the Chairman or the Secretary has a vision and a mission. Does that mission and vision percolate to the lift operator, percolate to the last worker, the invisible worker, as I call them? You don't see him, he is there. He is a human being, he is divinely created. He is a divinely created human being. He may be a worker today by accident. You may be a chairman by accident. Therefore, unless we develop that kind of an anger and sensitivity and feel integrated, the role cannot be played by talks in English, by seminars and conclaves in English. Please pardon me. Please pardon me. Because this is what I feel today. Therefore, bridge that big gulf, enormous gulf that exists between the English knowing and the people in Uchilambatti, Bulandshahr, and in Baroda and other places. So go down, sit with them, talk to them. And I think that would be the best way. Now, the second point which I want to mention and conclude, T.S. Krishnamurti is the best person. Is our democracy a real democracy? Is our system the real system? We will have to think of that. T.S. Krishnamurti has been pleading that the first past the post system is not giving you the real, genuine democracy. The representative nature, a person representing 10 lakhs of people, a member of parliament, how can he represent 10 lakhs of people? How can an MLA represent 3 lakhs of people? In USA and UK, there are 535 representatives in USA represent 300 million people. In the same way, about 600 members of parliament represent 50 crores of people. Whereas we here, each member represents the whole England. How can he? Therefore, that is number one. Number two, do we have a real representative character? If a constituency has 1,000 voters, and if 400 come to vote, and if in the 408 parties get votes 120, 80, 80, 70, etc., the candidate who gets 120 gets elected. Now, what is that kind of a representative capacity? That is why the wonder maker, the miracle maker, Mr. T.S. Krishnamurti, has been talking about proportional system of representation, which would be at least slightly better than the first past the post system. Now, the third aspect of first past the post system, a party which gets 20% will get 180 seats. A party which gets 30% or 40% will get 40 seats. What is this? A party that gets more votes gets less seats, and a party that gets less votes gets more seats. And collective decision making. Is there really collective decision making in cabinet? In my time, when Nehru, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Jyoti Basu and others were alive, we could see the ministers, even though they represented a constituency, they were visible all over India. Nehru was visible in Guwahati, in Bulandshahr, Uchilambatti, Udumalpete. Each minister was the minister of India in the real sense. C. Subramaniam, Rajaji and others were ministers of India in the real sense. Today, a minister thinks that if he goes to the constituency, makes them happy, has a school built there, or a bridge built there, or a temple built there, he is happy. He will be elected the next time. We have really ministers who are the ministers of India. We have them. In fact, when I was a food secretary, my minister was Rao Birendra Singh. I mentioned the name. He used to send his tour programs to me. His tour program was like this. Departure Delhi. He represented Gurgaon constituency. Departure Delhi. Arrival Gurgaon. Departure Gurgaon. Arrival Delhi. He was shy of going to Bombay, Bulandshahr, Udumalpete, Buddireddipatti, Gangaikonda Solapuram. He was shy because another problem with the ministers is if they come to Udumalpete, they only know Hindi, they only know their own language. They cannot communicate, so they are shy to come out too often outside of their constituency. Therefore, we will have to remedy, first of all, these mental blocks. These have nothing to do with structures and systems, and you cannot improve it by mere structures. The psychological blocks, the mental blocks of our people must be removed. I think the challenge before people like Prime Point, Srinivasan, Priyadarshini, Sanjay, Ashok, the challenge before them is how to bridge this believe me, believe me, believe me, enormous gulf, enormous gulf. First, unless you bridge that enormous gulf, I don't think you can really be successful in improving the system. I don't want to leave you with any negative thought. I don't want to make you think that I am being rather harsh and so on. But do think about it. Do think about it. Develop the sensitivity as to how to go about it in the way that would bring we the people into the picture. We the people. We the people. Thank you.
That was a complete power punch. So much of questions and so many things for us to do, sir. And you have always been, personally, when even I had the opportunity to interact with you over a telephone, you have always been telling about creating awareness from the grassroots, like from the grassroots level, go from bottom top, not top down. And you have also been telling us about this integrated approach and work as a community. In fact, that's what is the learning which we have taken, and we are trying our level best to work as a community, try reaching to the grassroots level, trying to expand our tentacles with similar-minded people who really want to give back to the society, trying to make it a better place to stay. And the best thing which triggered me hard is develop anger and sensitivity. I think probably that's the reason most of younger generation, whoever is associated with us in our organization, yes, they have that anger that they cannot let go the way the system is. There has to be some change. So we will take our bit to make the change, sir. And thank you so much for that fabulous words of yours. And so now may I give a quick introduction about Sri T.S. Krishnamurti. T.S. Krishnamurti, sir, has been the Chief Election Commissioner of India, and in 2004, he had conducted single stroke elections in 543 constituencies with EVMs, which Raghavan sir has just mentioned, which is eighth wonder, absolutely true. And he was a person who coined the name Nota, and he's a patron of Sansad Ratna Awards Committee, and he is the guru for Prime Point Srinivasan sir when it comes to any reference, any clarification when it comes to Sansad Ratna Awards Committee. And for the integrity which we hold for the awards which we give today, I think T.S. Krishnamurti sir, having him as a patron, we can't afford to lose the integrity, because that's the support and that's the belief he has inculcated in us. And he's his first official recommendation, he's the first person to give an official recommendation for electoral reforms to the then Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, which we are yet to see. And I'm sure that there will be some electoral reforms. And that's a very, very beautifully and well thought draft. I had an opportunity to read. I couldn't read it completely because I couldn't understand much of it, but it is a very intense document. So thank you so much for that opportunity of giving us this document and to giving us this trigger to take it forward. With no delay, sir, we are here to hear you now.
Well, thank you very much. After the thought-provoking and emotional appeal of Dr. B.S. Raghavan, I am wondering whether I am qualified to speak at all, because I think he has bundled everything into that short, sweet speech, wherein he has awakened all of us for the need to reform not only the electoral process, to reform the system that is present now in civic life, particularly the differences between various regions, the role played by the ministers, how they are not visiting various parts of the country and communicating with them. These are all genuine problems and genuine impediments for good quality democracy in this country. And I do hope that our people in power, they realize the need to communicate with the people. Well, civil society, the topic which I am supposed to speak today, is supposed to be the third sector, apart from the government, the business, the third sector to contribute to the quality of life, particularly democratic life. And there have been many interpretations of what the civil society means. I went through the Encyclopedia Britannica. It says it's a dense network of groups, communities, network and ties that stand between the individual and the modern state. In a democratic society of modern representative democracy, unlike the city-states or direct democracies that we had in Greece and other ancient countries, the kind of democracy that we have necessitates the active role of people through various institutions, apart from the parliament, apart from other wings of the government. There are many gaps in the working of democracy which need to be plugged by a ever-vigilant society at large. The civil society organization has been interpreted by various people. It started with people like Hegel, Tocqueville, Karl Marx, and people saying that you have to arouse the conscience of the people to ensure that you have a good government which caters to the maximum happiness of maximum people. But then the representative democracy that we have shaped over the years has got into many distortions. Even assuming the Western democracies like US and UK have done a reasonably good job in ushering good quality democracy, reasonably good quality democracy. The democracies emerging recently or in the last few decades in Asia, Africa, and Latin America have not really performed very well. Many of them, they are democracies in name, in form, but not in substance. How do we meet this challenge? Because if democracy is not functioning properly, I always say it has a suicidal tendency. Democracy will result in a dictatorship. If people are not vigilant, if eternal vigilance is not practiced by people, you will find dictatorial leaders succeeding and find an open threat to democracy itself. It is absolutely necessary that the quality of democracy needs to be periodically refined, retuned, and reshaped to ensure that the democracy is changed or reformed to meet the needs of the time. Now, what are the civil societies that we have? As I said, normally civil societies mean non-governmental organizations and not-for-profit organizations, which are supposed to be the expression of the people's will in public life, to improve the quality of public life. And they are supposed to express the interests and values of their members or others outside the membership based on ethical, cultural, political, scientific, religious or philosophic considerations. Now, civil societies are of various kinds. Now, people will ask whether they can also be called as civil societies if they do not have, for example, if you have a religious organization or a political organization or a cultural organization or a charitable organization, which of them are really civil societies? Are they the ones who take active interest in public life, or intellectual civil societies where ideas and innovations are brought to the table? Are they the civil societies? So it's a very amorphous, very nebulous expression where we have to give a little more thought whether civil societies of all kinds need to be addressed or only a certain kinds of civil societies should be addressed. In my opinion, all civil societies, all branches of civil societies need to be addressed if you really want to improve the quality of democratic life in any country. So it is not merely, promoting voter awareness or promoting some civic responsibilities and so on. They are civil societies. Because as of now, what we have as civil societies, I won't say all of them, at least many of them, they are what Americans would call it as lobby groups. They lobby for certain specific purpose. It may be a certain social purpose or for a sectoral purpose. For example, you have this Federation of Industries and so on. They lobby for their own improvement, industrial policy and so on. So it is necessary to have a comprehensive approach to improve the quality of civil societies with more emphasis on improving the governance of a country. Now, I don't know how many of you know the government of India or the state government, no particular level of government has a list of civil societies. In fact, when I was additional secretary in the Department of Expenditure, I had raised this issue and said there is no regulation of civil society. And some of them are even be counterproductive to democratic life. They may even work against the unity and integrity of the nation. So it may be necessary for us to consider whether a comprehensive regulation can be brought about for these civil societies if we are very keen to protect the quality of democracy or improve the quality of democracy. For your information, certain lists of civil societies are available in the Planning Commission. Certain the then Planning Commission, of course, now it is Niti Aayog. Some list of civil society organizations are available with the Income Tax Department because they get tax exemption. Some civil society organizations are available with the Home Ministry because they get foreign contributions. So for that purpose, they have to register themselves. We have also civil society organizations registered under the Societies or Charitable Trust Act with the state governments. There is a charitable commissioner in Maharashtra who controls all the charitable institutions registered within the state of Maharashtra. So we have different kinds of regulation. I'm not saying that there should not be different kinds of regulation for the various regions. What I am saying is some basic minimum it is necessary for us to formulate, either in the form of a law or in the form of a code, to see that they observe these basic principles to ensure that they have a loyalty to the nation and they support the civic awareness, civic responsibility of people to ensure that the quality of governance in a country like ours improves substantially. Mr. Raghavan mentioned about how many of the distant, remote places in various states are not visited by the ministers. Well, I had the privilege as an election commissioner and then as a chief election commissioner to visit every state in India. And some of them, the remote corners of India, UP, Bihar, or for that matter, Punjab and so on, I could find a gap between the awareness of the people. It is not merely the urban voters who decide the fate of this country. And he also mentioned the quality of representatives who are elected, not merely the number of votes with which they are elected, because now it is possible for a person to get elected with only 25% of the votes polled. Does he really represent the whole constituency? He knows that he can ensure or protect the interest of the 25%, maybe his caste or his religion or his community and so on, and then get away without serving any nation. I would like to recall the famous words of Edmund Burke when he addressed the voters of Bristol. He said, choose such a representative who will represent the constituency's interest. But when there is a conflict between national interest and constituency interest, you should choose only such of those representatives who will give priority to the national interest. Unfortunately, my own little experience in the years in the government as well as in the election commission, I cannot speak very high of our representatives in terms of national interest. Many of them, they have very limited vision. They have very limited, approach to the whole problem, and they are quite satisfied if they serve their own constituency or their own state. So it is absolutely necessary for civil society organizations to shape themselves of an all-India character. It should not be, well, there can be civil society organization in each state, but that must also have a national outlook. And only then civil society organization can really render service, because as I told you, there is always an internal threat to functioning of democracy. And if they are not properly refined or properly retuned according to the demands of the time, we are bound to ensure a dictatorial rule in place of the representative democracy. And a country like India, which has a huge population, is much more necessary that the people have to periodically assert, they have to bring it to the notice of the government. And it is also necessary for the rulers and the bureaucrats who serve the government, who serve the people. They also have to realize the need for an all-India outlook. And although, as I have seen, till about 70 or 80s, the leaders as well as the civil servants had a remarkable national outlook. But I'm afraid it is not so as of now. Things are deteriorating, and particularly in matters of law and order, it's very unfortunate that hatred and violence is taking importance, it is taking a heavy toll of the peace in the locality, peace in the state. It is necessary for the rulers, the bureaucrats, and the people of India to realize the urgent need to ensure that our democracy functions well, our governance serves the people responsibly and responsibly. So I think it is necessary for the government to consider, or maybe even the judiciary can even give a direction to that effect in any particular case, to see that we have a proper regulation of our civil societies. The sooner it is done, the better it is. May I say thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for such a wonderful speech. In fact, when we started with this entire conclave, sir, I remember the first person we reached out was to you, asking, sir, there is no defined definition for civil society, and we are trying to attempt on that. And I think very insightful, sir, a lot of interpretation, and it is a wide scope of understanding, and it is important to narrow down on what you want to do. So now I'm just giving a question open to both our panelists, presuming Raghavan sir is also with us. Yes, sir. Sir, at your time of administrative positions, so can you just give us a couple of examples of a civil society which had been very effective, and how did it impact on the betterment of the system, sir? So can we go with Raghavan sir first?
Well, in my time, state legislatures and parliament themselves played a very effective role. And there were organizations, cultural and public service oriented organizations, which were able to command some attention from parliament and state government. Today, as Mr. Krishnamurti has pointed out, it is these groups have become lobbying groups. In those days, there were not so many lobbying groups as such, only playing for their own interests. I think the first effort should be to bring an effective grassroots system of people's involvement, people's participation. I think in my time there was greater people's participation as a whole than up to date. I think that is the essential criterion by which I will judge the role of a society: people's participation and people's involvement. And no lobbying, no narrow interest. As Mr. Krishnamurti emphasized, it must all be for the nation as a whole, for the people as a whole.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So can I hear from TSK, sir, your experience at your...
Well, I have had exposure to some of the civil society organizations, particularly when I was in the Election Commission of India. Although in each state there were some election watch groups and so on, there is one institution which functions very effectively even today, is the Association for Democratic Reforms. It was started by a few professors of the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad and Bangalore, Mr. Chokkar and Mr. Trilochan Sastri. They used to come and meet me when I was in the Election Commission periodically. I used to support them. And unfortunately, we don't have a system of rewarding these organizations or supporting these organizations. In fact, some of the reforms that we have been able to achieve, particularly the one which Supreme Court delivered in judgment, are the two judgments. One is about the filing of affidavits by the persons filing the nominations for the election. And the other one is about the none of the above option for the voters. These were achieved not by the efforts of the government, but by the effort of the judiciary, duly supported by the Election Commission. In fact, when both these issues came to the Supreme Court, the Election Commission joined as a party and gave certain suggestions, which were, of course, accepted, except one, the one relating to false information given in the affidavits. I had proposed, in fact, I was the Chief Election Commissioner at the time, I had proposed that if there are apparent mistakes in the affidavit, that person should be disqualified. He should not be allowed to contest the election. But the Supreme Court did not accept this suggestion because they said that the person who is screening the applications or the nomination papers are at a junior level officers, and they may not be able to exercise a judicial approach to these nominations. And so these can be challenged only in a court of law. And neither the Election Commission nor the district election officer can decide about the inaccuracy of the affidavits filed. Similarly, none of the above options, when the association came to me and discussed it and said that they were filing, I said, we will also support, we will file an affidavit saying that we support that. Because we wanted the political parties to realize the need to filter candidates when they put up candidates for election. It is not that none of the option will automatically change, but at least it will convey a message to the political parties that there are still some people who do not approve of the candidates put up for the election. In fact, we had suggested to the government that if none of the above option percentage is more than 33 and 1/3% of the votes polled, or if no candidate gets more than 30% or 33 and 1/3% of votes, such candidates should not be allowed to contest or should not be declared as winners. So it is necessary that such reform proposals brought by civil society organizations need to be supported, and we need support from the Election Commission. But not all civil society organizations really contribute to the constructive improvement of the governance or improvement of the electoral process. There are many organizations which have been fighting against the Election Commission. They have been accusing the Election Commissioners of personal prejudice and so on. Just because you take a particular decision, I have a number of instances, but this is not the time or the forum to speak about it. They will question the integrity or the independence of the Election Commission. I do agree there have been some aberrations in some decisions taken by the Election Commission in so many years. In fact, when Mr. Raghavan complimented me and the election conducted, I wanted to mention, in fact, I've got this opportunity. It's a wonderful system. It is not one man's credit. It is about nearly 5 million people who used to take part in conducting the polling stations, in organizing the law and order situation. The credit goes to all of them. In fact, as soon as the election was over in 2004, I wrote a letter to every chief secretary in the state and every chief of the paramilitary organization like Border Security Force and CRPF and so on, thanking them profusely for allowing us to conduct an election without much of a problem. So it is a remarkable, in fact, the credit primarily should go to the first Chief Election Commissioner of India, Mr. Sukumar Sen, who, I think I don't know how he organized the election. He didn't have any support. We have only about 300 people working in the Election Commission. But he did a wonderful job. In those days, there used to be a ballot box for each candidate. Now we have an electronic voting machine. But there used to be, for each party or each candidate, there will be a separate ballot box. You have to count them. I think it was more a festival at that time, but over a period of time, it has become a riotous situation of conducting an election. Particularly, I felt so bad when the elections were conducted in West Bengal in 8 phases and so on. It's very unfortunate that the election process has got vitiated, mainly by politicians and partly by some bureaucrats. So it is necessary for us to ensure that these changes and civil societies need to be encouraged. And in fact, when I was the Chief Election Commissioner, I said, can we give some grants to some of these civil society organizations to support them? I was told that there is no such scheme as such, and we have to bring a new scheme. In fact, I had recommended supporting the various civil society organizations to promote civic awareness among the people. And I am aware that many activities of the Election Commission in the recent years have been done in support of the civil society organization. But it is not adequate, particularly when I see the riots, hatred, and violence that take place. It is necessary for civil society organizations to take more active role in this regard to prevent such untoward incidents, particularly loss of lives and injuries to so many people. These are very disturbing trends in our democracy.
May I take leave, Priyadarshini?
Yes, sir. If there is something else, if you would want to share with us, sir, we just had one more question. If you're open to answering, sir, now that you would want to share something else, sir?
Priya, it is time for him to take some medicines.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I understand, sir. Thank you so much for your time, sir. We are overwhelmed with your spirited speech, and it has been a blessing for us to hear you through. And you've given us, again, a lot of homework to work for. We will work, we will get your blessing, we will trouble you again for some ideas. And wishing you all the best, sir. Wishing you a lot more years of healthy life and stable mental, physical.
And as the oldest of the lot, all my love and blessings to each one of you. Please bring glory to India. Please contribute to the greatness of India.
And I must tell you, sir, that you are inspiring. At this age of 95, I'm not sure whether we'll be there, and even if you are there, whether we'll be able to inspire. I think hats off to you. I think the whole forum needs to applaud your efforts, your active interest, even at this age. May God bless
wish you long life, sir, and healthy life, and you continue to enlighten us, sir.
Thank you very much, and all my love and blessings, as I want to keep repeating, bring glory and greatness to this country. You are the leaders already in position,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So much, sir. Thank you so much. We should surely notice that when Raghavan sir was giving his wonderful speech, there was no one word which was inappropriate to the sentence, nor one statement which did not actually make the actual sense which he wanted to make. As TSK sir said, he is the true inspiration for each one of us who are here, who may not be to his standard, but at least an inspiration for us to keep going further. And so may I request Ashok sir or Sanjay sir, Prime Point Srinivasan sir, Ravi Sendul Kumar, if you have any question for TSK sir with us.
If
Yes, sir.
I can ask a very personal question, because we are in a very serious discussion. So some lighter discussion is also required, I believe. Sir, 2004 elections, that was India Shining campaign. And the whole world thought that the incumbent government will repeat itself. But as it was eighth wonder, you know what happened. What was your sentiment, feeling as an Indian, not as Chief Election Commissioner?
Well, I did address a Commonwealth seminar on the subject. First of all, I must say we felt very proud that we could conduct this election without much of an effort. There was not much of violence either. There were a few questions they raised about the working of the electronic voting commissions. And I can tell you that we had taken enormous steps to popularize this electronic voting machine. In some rural places, we had taken the bullock cart or the horse cart or any other method, even carrying it by camels and so on. We want to popularize to the people of India that we have a wonderful machine, and in my opinion, it is nation's pride. Even though political parties find it easy to put the blame on the machine for the failures, I can say that the machine doesn't have a mouth to defend itself. So only the Election Commission has to defend it. And I have no hesitation in saying that the machines are most reliable, robust, and they need not be doubted at all. In fact, after I left, they have made some more improvements on the machine. And I would only request the political parties to accept, or if they have some suggestions to improve the working of this machine, they can come out. But don't abandon the machine, because the alternative to the machine is manual voting. I am personally aware that in many polling stations, bogus votes were stuffed, particularly in Bihar, West Bengal, and a few other states. And it's a pity that there are some political parties asking for ballot papers. That should not come at all. This is my plea to the entire future generation. Improve the machine if you want to have any doubts to be cleared. Though I have no doubts whatsoever, the machines are absolutely credible. And when I went and addressed the foreign institutions, in fact, when I went to the US to watch the presidential election in 2004, I told them our machines are absolutely reliable. Brazil is using the electronic voting machine. In US, some places they have some electronic voting devices, but in the US, the procedure varies from state to state because each state has its own election commission and they go by their own rules. But on the whole, I had a tremendous feeling of pride about the way the Indian election system has been going on. The credit goes not to one person. It goes to a series of people, ordinary people, the policemen, even the voter, I would say, as well as some of the brilliant election commissioners preceding me, starting with Mr. Sukumar Sen. So many people, Sen Verma, then Mr. Session. Session was supposed to be a terror to the politicians. And Many of them had set up remarkable, initiative. They taken initiative to fashion this system. Now everything is provided for. If you have any time, you must go and visit the Election Commission websites, all the manuals, all the guidelines, for example, if somebody wants to form a political party, I used to tell them, look at our website. So all information are available. I have also we did set up a museum for a short period in Delhi for people to come and see the whole election processes. I wanted it to go to every state. I wanted the school children to come and visit these places, this museum. Even those, I think the pictures, everything, they are available in the Election Commission. Somebody should take the initiative to organize this kind of, educating the people. In Australia, it is there. They invite the school children, particularly high school children, to come and visit, to initiate them into some kind of a civic responsibility and the importance of voting and so on. So I do hope some more changes will come. But my feeling was, in fact, Mr. Pranoy Roy asked me on the day the result was being announced. He said, "Are you afraid? Are you having some apprehension?" I said, "No. First of all, I am not contesting the election. And secondly, I have full faith in my electronic voting machine. And whenever we had any complaint about its working, he acted immediately. Within less than few hours, we replaced the machine, even to remove the doubt or apprehension in the mind of the people. And it went through. So all that I can say is the Indian election system and the Indian Election Commission beautifully carved in the Indian Constitution. No other constitution in the world, neither written nor unwritten, no other constitution has a constitutional machinery as the Election Commission. And ours is the only constitution. We borrowed ideas from Ireland, Canada, we borrowed ideas from UK, USA, and Switzerland, and so on. But this one is a remarkable feature of the constitution, which is not there anywhere. And I think the credit goes to the founders of our constitution today. Yesterday being the Constitution Day, in fact, I addressed another group yesterday on the working of our, day before yesterday, on the working of our constitution. In fact, I've got a facsimile copy of the original constitution. These are available in Delhi. I think they are priced at 1,200 rupees. The signatures of all the constituent members, it started with 380 constituent members, and 90 of them left on partition to Pakistan. Nearly 293 or so, they finally remained, and they signed each one of them, including Rajendra Prasad. And if you have an opportunity, day before yesterday, the president digitized the entire Constituent Assembly deliberations. And if the children can be asked to look at it, in fact, the Ministry of Information Broadcasting has brought out a film about the drafting of the Constitution. This should be shown in every high school or college, in my opinion. They should see the powerful thinking of the people, all with a national interest, how to fashion our democracy. We have to really feel proud that our longest written constitution in the world is probably the best as I see it now. Thank you.
Thank you,
Priya,
sir.
Sir, one more additional information to Dr. Pandey. When our Mr. TSK was talking about the EVM machine, more than the election process, the amount of trees that are being cut, lakhs and lakhs of trees. Now, particularly when we are talking about the global warming and climate change, if we are going to cut lakhs and lakhs of trees for the purpose of election every 5 years or even the assembly election, how the climate change also, how can we talk about that? Anyway, electronic voting machine is not only that, it is also contributing on our environment. Over to Priya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. May I request Dr. Ashok Pandey to give his closing remarks, please?
Priya, never in my life I was put to such unenviable position as today to speak and sum up the two legendaries who have spoken before us. And I'm simply overwhelmed, speechless, and a lot of lump in my throat. Let me clear it one by one and say a few words. Mr. B.S. Raghavan and Mr. T.S. Krishnamurthy, as I said in the beginning, both of them have been the role models for all of us. And I can give you a little secret that I was born at a time which fell just in between when Mr. Raghavan joined the services and when Mr. Krishnamurti joined the service. In other words, he joined Mr. Raghavan 5 years before I was born, and Mr. Krishnamurti joined 5 years after I was born. So you just imagine, this is a little calculation that I have done for myself. And then I thought that before I begin, let me give you BSR, BS Raghavan, brilliant, special, and rare. And T.S. Krishnamurti, tranquil, see the tranquility on his face, special and knowledgeable. So special is common in both of them, right? So they are very, very special to both of us. And what they have said today, Srinivasan sir, thank you very much for organizing this 4 days of master class on India's constitution. It began with the children's apprehensions and questions and aspirations, and it has ended today with the master class by these two great speakers. But in the typical Socratic dialogue and Socratic questioning form of teaching methodology, they have given us further questions to answer. What is the real democracy? Who the real people are? What is civil society? What is collective decision making? What kind of leadership we require? I think this is a lesson. And one thing that I want to tell about Mr. Raghavan throughout his speech, it was, inundated with one thing that all of us should be very, very privileged and happy about. He made all of us feel so important and valued. I think that is the quality of a rare leader, that in his company, we are feeling that we are so great, whereas actually he is the great one, Mr. Krishnamurti is the great one. But both of them have made us feel so great. So I think these are the lessons that we have to learn and our younger generation has to learn.
In fact, before you close, I thought I must mention my anecdote with Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Yes, sir.
And when I was appointed as the chief election commissioner, or election commissioner probably, yes, I called on him and I said, do you have any message? I think it's still ringing in my ears. He said, yes, parties may come and go. It is your duty to defend democracy. This is what he said.
Oh, yes.
And I think this is what every one of us should feel. It is not merely for the election commission. It is then on every responsibility of every Indian citizen to defend democracy.
Sir, and I think you took his advice literally, sir. You defended democracy and you allowed him to go in 2004.
There are some interesting anecdotes about that, but I may not be able to mention it now. But it was mentioned that that he appointed me and I left when the successive government came into power.
Yes. So that is the beauty of our democracy, sir, with all the limitations and all the complaints we may have, but we still have a lot of things for the whole world to learn from us. And that is what gives us the optimism. And that is why, as you suggested, I think the teaching of the value of constitution and constitutional principles should be very, very integral to our curriculum and pedagogy. So these 4 days, I was just trying to tell you, sir, that Mr. Srinivasan, sir, Priyadarshini, and the Alcon group of schools, headed by the principal Sanjay, we started with the children's debate on what they think about the directive principles and fundamental duties. Then there was a function in which the present parliamentarians and former ministers presented their viewpoint, the viewpoint of the civil society as we have understood it correctly. Then there was a session about how principals think that constitutional principle and the importance of duties versus rights should be brought in the course of our discussion. And today on this finale, I don't think any could have been more befitting finale to this whole program. We are absolutely delighted. We will continue to remember your words and Mr. Raghavan's words for many, many years. And Srinivasan sir, I told you that you are a gift giver. You have got this incredible, uncanny habit of giving gifts to the young generation. You have given us many gifts. This is the additional one. We are very grateful to you and Priyadarshini, and we are going to cherish these memories. And I'm sure very soon you will come out with another surprise where we can participate at the school as teachers and students. So my thanks to everybody. Thank you, Krishnamurthy sir, for gracing the occasion.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we had the best saved for the last, and I'm so glad that we had a wonderful session. So can I request Ravi Sendil Kumar, who's the Executive President of Sansad Ratna Awards Committee, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Good evening, one and all. I'm very happy to deliver a vote of thanks, and I thanks to Ashok Pandeyji for concluding the entire, the event fully, very superbly. But anyway, this is our 71st year Constitutional Day celebration, which was organized by, our team of, team concluding, team including all Prime Point Foundation, Sansad Ratna Awards Committee, NGPL, and Presence. This particular program was very well organized by Priyadarshini, along with, very importantly, the Alcon International School, because it started with Alcon International School. Thanks, Sanjay Yadavji, because in 25th November with your school, that's where we had an oratorial competition. And then we went on to have the next day with the former ministers participating all through the day. Like even the third day, yesterday, it was a role of teachers in creating awareness about fundamental duties. It was very well, a lot of experiences were shared by the panelists, and it was very well moderated by Sanjay Yadavji. And today, at the last day, we had the role of civil society in improving the system, which was very well, the eminent personalities of our judicial, our bureaucrat, with Mr. B.S. Raghavan sir, and our former Chief Election Commissioner sir, T.S. Krishnamurthy sir, has given a lot of inputs. It was very valuable inputs, which is very useful to all of us. With that, I would like to thank all panelists from the day 2 to day 4, because without them, it wouldn't have been such a wonderful event. I also thank our media partner, Ashok ji, who has done a wonderful job in connecting to various medias. And last but not the least, Prime Point Srinivasan sir, for driving all of us to conduct such events, even during the pandemic. Even after that, he's been instrumental in having continuous programs like this and making this Constitution Day as a very, very important, one, because we need to take forward this message to people only through these kind of events. And this awareness is very, very important. I may not be covering each and every one because of the 4 days event. I may not be naming few of them, but at the end, I thank each and every one, particularly Alcon International. Anyway, I have already informed. Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thank you, Sanjay ji, for all your help. And Priyadarshini, for your wonderful organizing of this particular event. Thank you, Ashok Pandeyji, and everyone who has attended today. With that, on behalf of Sansad Ratna Awards Committee, I thank all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
My special thanks to Dr. Ashok Pandey and his team for the wonderful coordination and guidance, support. And
some of my team members are here. I wanted them to be acknowledged. Dr. Ekta is here. Sumedha is here. Sunita, ma'am, I can see. Some of them are here. Some
Priya,
of them are behind.
Can you just identify and give them the...
Yes, sir. TSK sir, actually, Ashok Pandey sir has been the extension of our aspiration to reach out to youngsters, because as Raghavan sir had told, and as you also always keep telling us, that it's important for us to reach the ground and reach the children. And it has been the best exchange of goodwill between Prime Point Foundation and Alcon International School. So they have been a bigger support to us here in Delhi. And we believe it's going to be a beginning. And sir, we have officially also started Next Gen Political Leader Students Wing. and where Alcon group of schools will be the lead for the next gen political leader students being in Delhi NCRs.
Yeah, Priya, can I take one?
I may add, don't confine only to Delhi and Chennai. You should go to every state capital if it is possible.
Yes, sir.
Krishnamurthy sir, one anecdote or sentiment I also want to add.
Yes.
Suppose this program was held in the auditorium of our school and you were there and children were there. You know how I would have began this whole thing? I would have thanked my children for bringing Mr. Krishnamurthy to our hall. You know, because most of the celebrities and dignitaries I have met in my life only because of my children. So we are really, really very grateful to them.
And I had the privilege of visiting a few schools in Delhi, but not all of them.
Yes, sir.
And I agree that the school children have an important role to play.
Absolutely.
People at such meetings.
I'm sure we can look forward to hosting you in our school in some time. And of course, there are some more team members who I can also acknowledge here. Puneet was here in between the senior section head, and I can see Rashmi who is there. They have been working. Simran is there. So this whole event planning, of course, be it physical or virtual, a lot of support even from admin team. Priya, in the evening, she herself was there along with them and taking care of everything what was required. And above all, even at this time, Krishnamurthy sir, there were more than 100 students who could take part in physical event, and there were 20 students who took part and expressed their views and ideas. So what they have carried forward is the real learning for everyone.
Thank you and best wishes.
Thank you so much for your time. So please keep inspiring us, blessing us, guiding us as ever. And it's wonderful to see you. So please take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, Srinivasan sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But for you, your dynamism, nothing could have been done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay.
You can stop the line. You can stop the line.
We want to thank you for bringing this opportunity to us, and I'm sure we will carry it forward.